Can you feel it? That electric buzz crackling through the Detroit air, like the city itself is holding its breath, waiting for something, know someone, to change the narrative forever? Has the off-season finally delivered a spark powerful enough to ignite this long-suffering franchise's destiny? Could it really be that after years of shedding hope and heartbreak, the Detroit Lions have landed a gem that no one else could pry away? Mash that like button and drop your belief in the comments if you're ready for the Lions to flip the script and roar louder than ever before. Because, folks, what I'm about to tell you might just be the story that reshapes Detroit football's entire future. Insiders have been whispering in hushed tones, shockwaves rippling through the front office like a storm on the horizon, carrying rumors so tantalizing that if they hold true, the NFC North won't know what hit it. Imagine a player once dubbed Mr. Irrelevant, overlooked, traded, underestimated, suddenly becoming the most sought-after free agent on the market, with multiple suitors clamoring at his door, and yet he chooses Detroit. The whispers grow louder. A relentless special teams ace, a linebacker with an untamed energy that refuses to quit, a guy who turned down more lucrative offers because he believed in the culture Dan Campbell is building here. The shock? That player is Grant Stewart. Yes, number 41, the very embodiment of hustle and heart, the ultimate blue-collar warrior who wasn't just good enough to make a roster elsewhere, but so damn good that he was a leader, a locker room force, a special teams beast, and a linebacker who could light up run defenses if called upon. And now, he's chosen Detroit, the city where football dreams have been battered but never broken. A place still hungry for respect, still aching to shed its underdog label. Remember those gut-wrenching playoff near misses, those seasons slipping through our fingers like Detroit snow melting too fast? Remember the iconic 57 defense, a ferocious unit that just almost ushered in glory? Grant Stewart's signing could be the first domino to fall in a chain that ends our decades of suffering. This isn't just a free agent signing. It's a statement that Detroit is no longer settling, no longer the afterthought. This is a man who values culture over cash, a rare gem, who sees in our locker room a reflection of his own relentless drive. But let's turn up the heat here. What if Stewart's arrival ignites a firestorm within the defense that we haven't seen since Barry Sanders was dancing through defenders? What if his tenacity fuels Derek Barnes, Malcolm Rodriguez, and the rest of our linebacking corps to a level that finally rallies a defense crippled by injury and inconsistency for years? Or what if this disrupts the fragile chemistry that Dan Campbell has painstakingly built? Could his intensity clash with veterans or ruffle feathers in a locker room, still finding its identity under a new defensive coordinator? And on offense, we dare dream that this defensive steel will buy Jared Goff the time and space to unleash that surgical play-action magic we all swoon over? The possibilities stretch out like a Michigan summer, sky limitless and charged with promise. And if this domino falls, if Stewart becomes that glue, that spark, that emblem of Detroit grit, it might just unleash the wildest Lions offseason in history, a storm of momentum so fierce it propels us beyond the bounds of what we dared hope. Just one season ago, imagine Ford Field shaking not just with cheers, but with the roar of a defense reborn, the collective gasp of a fan base finally rewarded for decades of faith and fury. So here we are, Detroit on the edge of something big, something rare, something real. And all eyes are on Grant Stewart, the underdog-turned-difference maker, the heartbeat of a defense ready to rise. Will he be the key to unlocking the Lions' full potential, the missing piece in a team poised to claw its way back to relevance? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. This offseason just got lit, and Detroit's hunger is about to be fed. All right, Detroit, if you've been through the endless trials of the Caldwell years, tasted the bitter sting of 0-16 in 2007, and felt the cold grip of playoff heartbreaks choking out our dreams time and time again, you know this moment isn't just about adding another name to the roster. It's about wresting control back from fate itself. This isn't the usual preseason play. This is a call to every fan who's cried in the stands at Ford Field, Who screamed at the TV when valiant efforts fell just short? Who remembered Megatron's heroic sprints and wondered why we never got to truly celebrate greatness for decades? This is the turning point. And if you're hearing that pulse racing through your veins, you better unleash it in the comments. Now, let's pull back the curtain on what Grant Stewart's signing could truly mean. Could this be the seismic shift that topples the NFC North's established order, the stiff, smug dominance of Green Bay's Aaron Rodgers era finally trembling? What about Minnesota, always a thorn in our side, with their defense snarling and offense clicking? The Lions have lurked in the shadows for too long, but Stewart's grit might just ignite a chain reaction, locker room renaissance that blows up the stale power dynamics and accelerates the youth movement Dan Campbell's preaching. Remember how we watched the 2010s unfold with jealousy, watching rival teams cash in on their draft picks while the Lions floundered, rotating coaches and coordinators like a revolving door? Now, the stubborn heartbeat of this team is finally syncing up. What if Stewart's fiery presence on special teams sparks an ecosystem-wide elevation, an atmosphere where Barnes' sideline presence becomes unshakable, where Rodriguez's sideline fire turns into a full-blown inferno of defensive domination? What if this ripples up the roster, dragging along Scout and Swinney, reshaping the identity of a defensive unit that, for far too long, was a leaky dam of missed tackles and blown coverages? And here's the tension we can't ignore. Locker rooms are delicate ecosystems. What if Stewart's relentless intensity upends the comfort zone for veterans used to a different vibe under previous regimes? Could there be sparks that threaten the fragile chemistry that Campbell and his staff have carefully nurtured? Or does this intensity, this unyielding blue-collar toughness, become the glue that stitches together a fractured roster? Offensive linemen will need that defense to hold strong for Jared Goff to unleash that laser-guided play-action pass that makes us remember Stafford's magic was no fluke. Goff's time behind the line might just be the missing proof in Detroit's evolution, turning close calls into come-from-behind victories. The question hanging over all this? Can this built-in storm of Lions energy shatter the bad juju that's clung to this franchise since the 57 near-championship crystal shattered decades ago? Ford Field has witnessed heartbreak, but it has also echoed with fleeting moments, the roar after a last-minute touchdown, the gasp following a defensive stop echoes that hint that greatness is not impossible here. The scars of the past, endless rebuilds, the years of uncertainty, the heartbreaks we've all lived through, but also the stubborn hope that refuses to die. Grant Stewart's arrival is more than signing a player. It's stepping into the arena with new armor, a new war cry, a readiness to fight like never before. So here's the battleground laid bare. If the Lions can harness this moment, if this domino begins to fall with Stewart as the spearhead, how quickly will it spiral? Will free agency and drafts turn into a whirlwind that sweeps through the division, dismantling perennial rivals piece by piece? Will the locker room lock in an ironclad brotherhood that withstands injuries, controversies, and the crushing weight of expectations? Will the future flashing ahead see Stafford-like heroes emerge again? Or will it be Goff finally becoming the signal caller that completes the circuit for Detroit glory? And if by some wild stroke of fortune, the Lions don't just compete, but dominate, forcing green and purple to watch anxiously as Detroit finally flexes its muscle, what then? Can Detroit's long-suffering fans hold their breath long enough to watch the curse break, to see the postseason not just as a footnote, but as a launching pad? Will Ford Field shake to the foundations with a victory parade that lasts longer than headlines, that rewrites the history books? The answers lie somewhere in the thunderous anticipation swirling around every tackle, every clutch play Stewart might make. The ghosts of seasons past weigh heavy, but the fire in the hearts of this new era burns brighter than ever. So here's my call, Detroit. I dare you to clash your fists, to yell into the cold winter air, to declare this your year, your time, your roar. Will this be the moment we finally snatch victory from the jaws of disappointment? Or is it yet another tease before the storm clouds close in? Can you see the glint of hope peeking through the turmoil? Or will the silence after the cheers remind you of the long road ahead? Every Sunday, every snap, every bone-crushing hit will answer that question. Now, what are you waiting for, Detroit? The roar is rising. The chapter is turning. So what's your battle cry?